This is Morning Edition on KQED Radio. I'm Catherine Barron. The victory Tuesday of Proposition H, the measure to rebuild part of San Francisco's Central Freeway, marked a milestone in the growing political consciousness of the city's Asian community. Chinese-American activists led the Yes on H campaign, and Asian voters helped put the measure over the top. But the long-term impact of this new force on the city's political landscape remains uncertain. Jeff Hoffman reports.
The atmosphere Tuesday night at the Our Court Cafe on Clement Street was part Super Bowl party, part ethnic pride display, as H proponents celebrated victory in their effort to restore the quake-damaged roadway.
Yes on H. He can't hear you from here. One more time. Yes on H.
San Francisco voters approved the measure 53 to 47%, despite opposition from City Hall and major media. There was a strong yes vote in heavily Asian Western precincts, 70% in the Sunset and 67% in the Richmond. That followed a months-long grassroots move to put H on the ballot and reflected a revolt against the downtown political establishment.
It says that the people rule in a democracy. We don't care what the Board of Supervisors says. We don't care what the mayor says. If they don't follow the will of the people, we're going to do it ourselves.
Rose Tsai, realtor, political amateur, and first-generation Chinese-American, is a leader of the San Francisco Neighbors Association. The 4,000-member group, formed 3 years ago, spearheaded the Pro-H coalition.
We're just a regular group of ordinary people who live in the neighborhood, who are concerned with quality of life issues.
The H campaign represented a diverse coalition of ethnic groups and interests, but most of its core supporters were working and middle-class Chinese residents of the Richmond and Sunset districts, many of them first-time political activists. Hong Kong native James Lau joined the Get Out the Vote effort last week.
This is the first time I get involved because I feel H is very important to our citizens living in San Francisco. Before, I pretty much put trust to the politicians. They said they represent our benefit. But I feel now I cannot trust them too much.
In just 3 weeks this summer, the association gathered 30,000 signatures to put H on the ballot. They were angered by the politicians' apparent disregard of their views on the Central Freeway. That and city moves to ban the sale of live animals in Asian groceries and to limit residential additions helped mobilize the community. Some analysts call Tuesday's victory an earthquake, the long-anticipated awakening of San Francisco's huge Asian community. Supervisor Leland Yee.
You have a group of Chinese Americans who have literally, I think, will now change the face of politics, of how we do business. And then finally they say after 150 years, we don't need to be trampled on anymore.
In fact, over the past decade, the percentage of Asian voters has risen from 10 to 18% of the city's electorate. These new voters helped elect 4 Asian American supervisors, including 3 on the current panel. The community includes many who may not speak English well or even know how to register to vote. Tsai says an important part of the Yes on H movement was getting them involved at a very basic level.
Most immigrants come here with a fear of politics. If you grew up in communist China or in any of the Asian countries, democracy is not in part of their vocabulary. If you're a good citizen, you just follow whatever the government policy is handed down. But this is a democracy, but nobody had ever explained to them what it means to live in a democracy and how to be a good citizen and how to participate in the political process.
Will this community, which includes diverse ethnic groups, classes, and parties, vote as a bloc? Can they continue to form coalitions with other San Franciscans? Those are open questions, says pollster David Binder.
What we may have seen here is the beginning of an empowerment of a group of people that before had never taken part in the political process. Now, sometimes you see that empowerment become a much bigger thing where the coalition stays and grows, but other times you see it dissolve because it only was good for that one particular issue. We don't know what the answer is yet.
Clearly, politicians are starting to listen. On Wednesday, supervisors agreed to make Proposition H binding, allowing Caltrans to proceed with the project. And at Tuesday night's victory celebration, politicians of all factions and parties turned out to toast San Francisco's newest political force. For KQED Radio News, I'm Jeff Hoffman.